Hello and welcome to ForkedKing.com. My name is Bernard Baker, and today we're going to take a look at a miniature game, a miniature variation of the Caro-Kann opening. This game was played between Richard Reddy, who had white, and a grandmaster named Tarkatower, who had black, in 1910. It was played in the city of Vienna. It's a very, very famous and notable game. It's one of our Hall of Fame games. This game is considered a miniature because it's not a very, very long game, and we're going to look at some interesting sacrifices as well. The game goes as follows. Richard Reddy played e4. Tarkatower played c6. It's a normal move in the Caro-Kann. The next move for black will be to move here and then to trade here. The Caro-Kann is a very, very good system for playing. It's a draw system, and pretty much where black just tries to use his pawn structure to control the movement for white, and it's difficult for white to gain an advantage. That's why many players play the Caro-Kann. The next move for white is d4, obtaining a perfect center. Occupying these two pawns and influencing these squares, occupying these two squares and influencing those squares. So black's move naturally would be to disrupt what's called the perfect center. d5 does exactly that. Knight to c3, protecting this pawn here. Myself, I prefer doing knight to d2. The reason I prefer that is by doing knight to c3. What if black tries to do something like this? Or maybe what if he doesn't take here and later on moves here and tries to get here? One way of stopping it would be to move knight to d2, and then if bishop or queen come over here, you just reinforce with a pawn by building a pawn chain here. It's just my own personal way of handling it. But knight to c3 is certainly as efficient. D captures e4. Knight captures e4. Knight to f6, standard move in the Caro-Kann. In the Caro-Kann, this knight, actually, what black would like is if knight captures knight. Now, ordinarily, you'll have double pawns here. And if you have double pawns, ordinarily, double pawns are bad. However, in the Caro-Kann and some variations of the French, it's not uncommon for black to capture with this pawn and then fianchetto the bishop, or even capture with this pawn. I guess you wouldn't want to capture with your king unless you could castle right away. But this is very, very hard to break down. It's hard to get inside of this fort here with that pawn there. So I don't like to capture that way. Let's see how the game continues. White does. I have the king and queen mixed up. Sorry. White does queen to d3. Standard move in the Caro-Kann. e5. Occupying the center square and attacking the center square, providing availability to the board for the bishop, allowing this bishop to come out here. Good standard move. D captures e5. Queen to a5, recognizing that pawn is now available for this queen. Queen a5 check to pick up the pawn. White does bishop to d2, blocking the check. Queen captures the pawn. There's a danger in this. Now watch this trap here. Now this is beautiful. White castles queenside, as white does often in the Caro-Kann. Now, anytime your opponent does something like this, castles and alliances rook and its queen on an open file, you have to be conscientious that there may be some type of tactic coming your way. So it's a very good move by Richard Reddy. And at the same time, if he's allowing you to capture that knight for free, then you may want to be cautious. But this is a beautiful tactic by Richard Reddy. Knight captures e4. Thinks he got away with a piece here. However, watch the queen sack. Queen to d8 check. You may say, well, man, I never would have done that, but it does take courage, however, and ingenuity. However, it's a move that's very well worth it. Black has to take. Black can't move here, can't move there, so he has to take the queen. So, well, man, I got a queen for free, right? Nope. Bishop to g5 check. Can't block the check because you'd still be in check with this discovery. Now, this is called discovery when you have a piece here, and he could have just said check there and just taken the queen. He's not even going for the queen. He's going for the mate. So he says check. Let's see. Actually, at this point, black resigns right here. Because if black were to go here to e8, then rook to d8 is checkmate. Okay? And if black were to go to c7, bishop to d8 is checkmate. So that's a very, very beautiful and that is a very, very beautiful and creative way of playing against the Caro-Kann. So now you may want to try to obtain this position. Who knows, maybe you'll have some success. Black didn't get to develop any of his pieces. Black never got in the game because actually what happened, the problem is that black went pawn hunting early in the game. And just because that pawn was available doesn't mean that you should take it. I'm a firm believer that you should develop all of your pieces before you start attacking your opponent, especially if you have black, because you're one move behind. This is just one miniature game that we have in our Hall of Fame games here at ForkedKing.com. Thank you for joining us. I am Bernard Baker. Have a good day.